We loaded up my station wagon with a tent, Coleman, sleeping bags, some fishing poles, a cooler of Cokes. But 3 days before we had to be back. When you're 7, you're in your 7th heaven, going camping in the wild outdoors. As we turned off on that old dirt road, he looked at me and swore, "Dad, this could be the best day of my life. Been dreaming day and night about the fun we'll have. Just me and you doing what I've always wanted to do. I'm the luckiest boy alive. This is the best day of my life." So begins The Best Day of My Life by George Strait, a song based on his relationship with his son. The second verse, the boy is 15, and classic cars are his thing, and he brings in an old Corvette that needed to be fixed up, a fixer-upper. And the boy thinks, it's wonderful, it's an old classic car, it needs some TLC, I'll get it fixed up. And then they drive it, and it works, and the boy just says, "This is the best day of my life. I'm the luckiest boy alive." And then verse 3 rolls around, and his son is getting married. George is his son's best man. And they're waiting in the kind of back room, and the son just says, "This is the best day of my life. I've watched you and Mom and how you've done it, and here I am now, and I'm the luckiest man alive. This is the best day of my life." This song came to my mind as I looked over the song of Zechariah, or Zacharias, and I've seen the name rendered both ways. He is facing the best day of his life. Now, what is your best day? Or really, what are your best days? I don't like that question of asking the one. I think let's pick the top 10, the top 5. So what days qualify as that? Is it a goal reached? A wedding celebrated? Children born? A joyful reunion or reconciliation? A promotion? Recognition for work in the community or in the workplace? What counts as your best days of your life? Zechariah was facing what he would have called the best day of his life as he went to serve in the temple. Zechariah is of the tribe of Lehi, and he is descended from Aaron, the brother of Moses. All the men who were descended of Aaron are priests. And somehow that name has been rendered to Cohen. So if you meet someone Jewish and the last name is Cohen, you're meeting a descendant of Aaron. So here he is. He is one of those descendants. Now, 1,400 years at least have passed since Aaron was around. So by now, despite all the challenges of the history, there are a huge number of sons of Aaron. Only a small percentage served full-time as priests. For the vast majority, being a priest was like doing National Guard duty. 2 different weeks a year, let's just say every 6 months, I serve 1 week as a priest. So I go in there. Now, for those in Jerusalem, if it was the season of Passover or Pentecost, or the Festival of Booths in the fall, they may need to bring you in for some extra service, extra duty, but basically, you had 2 weeks a year. Zechariah is one of those. And just to serve as a highway. Now again, there were so many people there to do the different tasks that it was decided by lot. And so there was a morning sacrifice and an evening sacrifice. The one in the evening got to burn incense and then go out and bless the people. It falls to you by lot. There could be priests that their entire lives served and never got to do that. And on this occasion, it has fallen to Zechariah. This is the best day ever. I get to go, not to the Holy of Holies, but the next best thing, and not everybody gets to do that, to do the evening sacrifice, the big one, and to burn the incense and to bless the people. Best day ever. And yet, for Zacharias, there is sadness. He and Elizabeth have no children. They have lived righteously, and by that I mean in the best sense, not self-righteous. They were, as some would say, good people. Elizabeth is also descendant of Aaron. So yes, these two are cousins, but remember, it's been going on, this family line's been going on for over 1,000 years. I mean, they could be 10th cousins. Okay? They might be third cousins, but they could be 10th. Okay? They could be 15th. So anyway, they are both descended, and so as she is a daughter of Aaron, it would be said that she comes from a perfectly lovely family. And so their wedding day would have been a great day. She would have been a great catch. He's a great catch. It would have been the best day ever. And yet still, there are no children. But that's not going to spoil the happiness of this day. Serving there in the temple, one of the highlights of the year. And not only that, his once-in-a-lifetime chance to serve and to burn incense. And while he is in that space, an angel of the Lord, Gabriel, comes to speak to him. Gabriel, which means God is my strength. That Gabriel tells him that you and Elizabeth will have a son. And this son will have the spirit and power of Elijah, the forerunner. He will pave the way for the Messiah. Best day ever. He's going to have a child, a son. Not only that, this fellow is going to be the forerunner. He will be the Elijah, announcing the way for the Messiah. This is what we have heard about, read about, prayed about for all these years, he is thinking, and it's going to happen to me and my wife. Now, in the midst of this announcement, Zacharias is there with his AARP card and all of that. He wonders a bit. Is this really going to happen? I, quite frankly, don't blame him for being doubtful. And, well, it's not my decision whether he's to be silenced or not. He is silenced. When he goes out to give the blessing, he cannot speak. I don't know if he just did smile and wave or what. And they realized, oh my goodness, he has had a visit from the Lord. So, even though he did not get to speak the benediction, it's still best day ever. Wow. The priest that gave us the benediction today, he met with the Lord, an angel of the Lord. And in due course, a son will be born. Now, in the midst of the pregnancy, the word of the Lord through Gabriel goes to Mary that she will give birth to Jesus. That whole story takes place next in Scripture. And then we come back to the story of Zechariah and to Elizabeth. The child is born. It's his circumcision, the 8th day, and his name day. This is a big event. Best day ever. And there is discussion of the name. Now, I know in this day and time, many people will go to a name book, or I heard that name and I like the way it sounded. I come from a tradition of you go to the family tree, you recycle names. I could bore you all to tears over the stories of certain family names and who has held them and why they were picked, but I will spare you that, okay? And this is an area you don't go to the book, you go to the family tree. And there's several fine, outstanding names in the family tree. But they're told his name is going to be John, because that's what the angel said. And there's like, Elizabeth, I just think you're a little just kind of overwhelmed with your happiness, and you're just not thinking. Well, Zacharias just wants to write. They bring him something to write, and he writes out his name is John. That is short for Jehohanan, which means Jehovah's gift, or God is gracious. He writes John. And then Zechariah can speak. And we have his words. That was the second lesson today. In effect, he's saying, that boy will go far. He will prepare the way. He will give the knowledge of salvation, to proclaim forgiveness for sins, and walk in the ways of peace. Zechariah already knows that John is set apart. A special upbringing, a special way he will be raised for a very special purpose. He is thinking, I am the luckiest man alive. This is the best day of my life. And this is the way we mark this year, the beginning of Advent. Now, I've pondered this story again and again over this week. And I've pondered it in light of where we are now in 2020. One observation that comes to mind is that God interrupts. That is the pattern of Scripture. A story of a couple who can't have a child that is told again and again. And we see a child come. Now, it doesn't always happen. That's one of those hard things of life. But constantly we see life interrupted. People doing what they know they're supposed to be doing, because Zechariah is doing his job. It's my day. Oh, it's my day. Wow, this is my day. I get to burn the incense. I get to make the sacrifice. He's doing what he knew he needed to be done, and in the midst of that, God calls him to something else. God interrupts. And God works in the interruptions. And we are living in an interrupted time. Now, I want to be careful what I'm saying here. I'm not suggesting that God has sent a plague upon us. That's a whole other topic and discussion. What I am saying is, in the middle of this interruption, God is at work. And God is in a refining process. And I don't know where the outcome is going. This is a theme for us, that God is using this time to refine us. And it's more than just one Sunday message to make the point or to reflect. So observation one essentially is God interrupts. And then second, noting that John and later Jesus, they enter into real life situations, real life struggles. You've got this couple that at one level are very successful. He's doing well. They're both sons and daughter, a son and a daughter. They're both children of Aaron. That's something. And yet, on another level, they live a life of hurt and pain. No child. I know we've all heard the saying, be kind, because everyone you meet is facing a battle. Now, I realize that for some people, they got more than one battle going on in their lives right now. And for some, it's more like a skirmish. And for some, at the moment, it's more like a war. But regardless, each one of us has his or her own battlefront. And it's into this world, the world in which we live, and our own personal worlds and our corporate world, that Jesus enters with all the mess and the upsets. And finally, I take away, again, the point that this is a Sunday of hope. This is our first candle, and sometimes known as the candle of hope, and sometimes the candle of the prophets. There's a connection there. I mean, there definitely is a connection.